In this video we are going to take a closer look at what I believe is the first ever made fixed blade by Reate Knives. This is the Tibia, designed by Jim Skelton, I believe, or Skelton Blade Works. I don't have a whole lot of experience with Jim's designs. In fact, I have no experience whatsoever. The first time I heard about Jim was way back when Bark River made some sort of collaboration making the occipital or something like that. I'm not quite sure what that knife was called. I never got one myself, but I was intrigued, by Reate making a fixed blade, which is why I decided to go with this knife. So let's do a first unboxing here. Perhaps this is the box in which the knife is delivered. Quite a sturdy box. Screams, screams quality. Just by looking at it like this. Limited edition. I'm not quite sure how limited this knife is, but apparently it was not made in a very large run for whatever reasons. There might be for that. Taking a look here at the side here, I'm not sure how well it can be seen in the camera. It says model, tibia, handle, carbon fiber, blade, Dana steel, okay, M390, stonewashed flat plus satin finish blade. Not sure about the Dama steel there, but M390, that I know. Serial number, this one is serial number 32. So I know this one is also available in a black coating version. I think there's also some differences in the actual blade grinds between the satin version and the black coated version. But I only have the satin one in my possession. But let's do a unboxing here now of sorts. So let's open it up like this. So we have some silica gel that we're gonna throw away. We have a small Reate patch here. And we have some, just a piece of cloth. Pretty much the same, well, not the very same you get with their folders, but a nice little piece of cloth. Then we can open up this part, which unveils the knife itself, and quite a nice sturdy leather sheath here. So let's okay. So that's the box. We're not gonna see that anymore now. I think we're gonna perhaps drop the patch there. That. So here is the knife, and let's take a look at the sheath first. This is actually quite a solid work. Very sturdy leather sheath. Nice first experience. I don't think Reate has a lot of experience making sheath, but they sure made a good job with this one, or they outsourced it to some sheath manufacturer that sure knows how to make high quality leather products. So that's nice. Let's put the sheath here on the side, and well, here we have it. Let's wipe some paper stuff off here. So this is what the tibia looks like. quite a, special. Should we do like this to see? It's not so easy catching details here on the, there we go. That is what I wanted to be able to show in some way. So quite a bit different design. Definitely not something that I'm, usually going with, but like I said, a fixed blade from Reate, I had to, give it a try. And also interesting to, get my hands on one of those Jim Skelton designs. Yeah, let's go over the specs here real fast before we move into other aspects of the design and, just the knife itself. Like I stated, the blade material here, or steel material, is M390. It was stated Damas steel M390, but yeah, M390 nonetheless, with carbon fiber scales. Flat grind, satin finish. We have an overall length of 185 millimeters. We have a blade length of 105 millimeters and a blade thickness of 4 millimeters. So this is, quite a compact, stout knife with a very, different design to it. Or at least different to me. If I, look at most other knives I own, I do not have many knives that look anything like this one. So the weight of this knife should be, I believe, around 130 grams, give or take a few grams perhaps. Do I have my scale here? Give me a second. So let's get an exact number here, shall we? 134 grams to be more precise. Balance point right at the finger choil here, or groove of sorts. Does make a lot of sense, I've got to say. I wear size 10 gloves, fairly large hands. Placing the knife in my hand like this, well, I do get my 4 fingers around this. I guess it is a full 4-finger grip actually. It is nicely rounded, especially this top area here, but also nicely rounded down here. So I do feel like, it is, let's see, it is not a lot of, handle left here. But it does not feel uncomfortable in my hand. I doubt I will get any, blisters or any hot spots or anything from it. But if you have slightly larger hands than I do, then, the full 4-finger grip might turn into like a 3.5-finger grip, which might not, be a really big concern. But I'm just, throwing it out there. If you do know that you have large hands, but it should not be an issue in terms of, comfort or general ergos of the handle. So we also have some jimping going on here. The design, or the intended design here, is of course that you put your hand like this and you place your thumb here in this groove of sorts. And it does feel, pretty okay, I'd say. They could perhaps have gone with a slightly longer, like added perhaps 1 or 2 more jimps here. It does get a little bit cramped if you put your thumb like this. Then again, putting your thumb this area against the jimping and then placing the top part of your thumb here on the spine, it does feel quite alright. So in terms of ergos, it is, I would say, a pretty, pretty comfortable knife to hold in your hand. Right now I'm not working with knife, of course, but just the general ergos feels, yeah, it feels pretty good, definitely. You do have, of course, as you have already noticed, there is a bit of a fuller-like design here with some holes drilled into it, probably for maybe a bit of a weight reduction, and also to make the blade perhaps a bit, well, fullers in general, to make the blade a bit tougher, but with the drilled holes inside, I'm not sure how that will affect the toughness part of it. Still, I would imagine that there is also, it's supposed to look kind of neat, I think, but there is also, of course, a bit of a weight reduction, removing that steel there, so we can get a balance point that is the way it is right now. Small, or not a small, but you do have a hole here back for lanyards. I'm not much for lanyards, and if I did put a lanyard in here, that would mess up, the ergos or the comfort here. If it was, some paracord protruding here, that would make it less comfortable in my hand. But we're all different, so if you do want to use paracord and you don't have, any issues with it against your hand like that, then by all means do put some paracord on it, or whatever type of lanyard you prefer on your knives. So let's do a bit of a sharpness test here, shall we? The usual printing paper, magazine paper, and some newspaper. See how it performs. So here we have some regular printing paper. Not a whole lot to say about that. Let's see if we can get it to slice it. And it does seem to be able to slice it, well, fairly good, right? Trying to use as much of the edge as possible to see if it is, evenly sharpened, which it does seem to be. So, printing paper, easy work. Let's proceed with some magazine paper then. Do I have to zoom out? I'm gonna go with it like this regardless now, so hopefully it is semi-visible. So slicing magazine paper seems to be more or less effortless for this compact little knife. So some, baby patterns of sorts, which was not a whole lot of work either. So that leaves us to the final paper challenge, which is of course newspaper. Let's see if we can find a page here. So here we have some newspaper. Yeah, it does seem to do a really good job with the newspaper as well. So slicing newspaper, not very hard either. So in terms of paper slicing, this knife does a really good job. It's been a little while since I did some shaving, so maybe I have saved up some hair. We could perhaps go for some hair shaving. Should I go legs or arms? I don't have a whole lot of hair on my arms. Give me 1 second here. Check out my legs here for hair. So let's go with the legs then, shall we? Give me just 1 second here. So leg hair it is. Okay, are we in focus? I have no idea, I can't really see in the camera now, but I'm gonna go anyway. So let's try to remove some leg hair here, shall we? Smooth as butter. So let's see. So shaving leg hair, if that is what you enjoy doing with your knives, then maybe this can become your dedicated leg hair shaving knife of sorts. Yeah, it's really, good job. So if you're looking for a paper slicer, leg hair shaver, then this could be the knife for you. We should probably do some other tests with it as well, but now we know that it is a comfortable knife, it is a sharp knife, it is a well-balanced knife. Yeah, we're off to a pretty good start, right? Let's see what more we can do. Before we do anything else here, I just realized that maybe we should actually try and see if the knife fits well in the nicely made sheath here. So yeah, let's see how it works out. Here we have it snapped into its sheath. Super tight fit. This knife ain't going anywhere, even if we do like this. Can we put it in the loop here? Yeah, this has a better retention than some Kydex sheath. So yeah. Yeah, I really like the sheath, it feels super well made. Yeah, nice, very nice, feels, just reeks of quality, Now we can proceed to something else. I decided to go out in the woods with the tibia to put it to some light woodwork of sorts, some carving, etc. I should have perhaps used it in the kitchen a bit before heading out here, but it doesn't really matter. We can mess around a bit here and then we can head back home and slice some tomatoes or something, see if the edge is still holding up, which it, in my opinion, should, since it is M390. And these pieces of wood are not super, well, I mean, they shouldn't really, do any damage to the edge, as long as the heat treat is on spot and as long as the grind is, you know, not overly thin in any way. So let's do some woodwork here now, shall we? See, put it there. So I have a few different kinds of wood here, and also different sizes here. Let's do some carving of this tree type first, perhaps. So this is some pretty hard wood. Let's do some carving here. So this is, you know, the type of task where you definitely want to put your thumb here. Going just like this, well, you can do it, but it feels a lot more, you know, secure and easy to work if you do use the groove here for the thumb. So now we're just going with a, you know, spear type tip here. Yeah. Quite a fine tip. Yeah, that's very, very pointy. So if you want to make something to put, you know, hot dogs and stuff on in the woods, then this knife will it will do the job. No doubt about it. Let's see if we can do some other things here as well. Let's go for a notch or something here. I think we can go with it. I was gonna go from the other side, but for some reason didn't want to cooperate with me like that. Reverse notch. Like I said, not what I intended it to be, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah. Sort of a notch, right? Let's go with something slightly thicker here in size. Same type of wood, perhaps. Go with this one. Yeah. Well, we should have, you know what, we should have removed this part before going. Like that. Now we can go from, you know, from scratch, making the tip here. So now we have sort of a, well, it's not the most beautiful tip, but just to show, you know, that it can do it like that. And try making a notch here as well, perhaps, but I can see there's a crack going through the piece of wood here, so making a notch in this one would not be super good. Yeah, let's try some other types of wood. Let's go with let's see, this is birch. Yeah, let's do something with this piece of birch here as well next to. Yeah, making quick work of that, carving it into a very, very fine, almost too fine a tip here. Not bad, not bad. We can go with a notch in this one as well. Let's go with it here, I think. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. So here we have a notch. Sort of. Not totally even perhaps, but quick fix. So now it is slightly more even. Let's see. Maybe we can try some feather sticking as well. See if I can fix some pieces of wood for that. Yeah, let's see if we can do some feathers here. Let's go with some birch first here. Should probably zoom in a bit, right? Yeah, this might be better. I should change my position for the camera, make it slightly better, and maybe even zoom in slightly further as well. Yeah, maybe this will do. This piece here is in the way. Oh well. Let's see if I can break this part off here. Give me just 1 second. Let's see. Remove it a bit. So that will make it a bit easier to adjust the blade. Is it visible in the camera now? Perhaps. So let's look at where we are at right now here in terms of progress. If you can get it in focus here. Pretty nice feather bouquet, right? Let's continue to work with it for a little bit. And in this position, it's actually not, you know, I don't really need to use the thumb grip here now. This works well using just the handle. Oops. Oh. Very nice little feather bouquet here of sorts. Let's see if we can make some more. I'm super surprised at what we're getting here, because this is really, you know, bushcraft level feathers, in my opinion. Really nice feather bouquet here of sorts. Really good stuff. I definitely was not expecting this kind of results. Definitely not. Let's put it there. Keep going here. So this is, you know, really nice. Nice work. So it will definitely make some super nice feathers. 100%. Let's remove the feathers here. Let's see. I'm gonna change the camera a bit here so we can get a better look here at the feathers. So let's take a look here at what we got here using the tibia. So this was in, you know, mere minutes or seconds. I could have easily, you know, if I wanted to get a fire started here, I could have made some more of these feathers in just, you know, a minute or two extra, and we would have had enough to get a fire going. So very nice job. I definitely didn't, you know, see that coming from this knife, to work with wood like that. Good stuff. Definitely. So I think that's probably it for the woodwork segment here. We were able to make some spears, different types of wood, made some notches, and also made a bunch of feathers. So yeah, pretty good job. And it was surprisingly ergonomical to work with. So I mean, I had my doubts when I ordered this knife. Wasn't sure, you know, really what I thought about the design, or, you know, how it would be in terms of, you know, real practical use. But well, it is a sharp, nice, comfortable knife to work with. I've got to say that. So let's put it to some kitchen duty when we get back home. We are now back from the woods, and it's time to put this knife to the test in terms of cutting some vegetables, or well, it's only tomatoes this time around. Anyway, this knife performed really well out in the woods. Carving wood with this one, and you know, especially making feathers was quite a pleasant experience. So let's see how well it slices these two tomatoes. I have not done anything, you know, any sharpening or anything to the knife here, but I did clean the blade up just a tad bit with some water and soap here, because I feel it's a bit more well, fresh and hygienic to work with a clean knife. And it's also nicer, you know, when you're gonna eat the tomatoes here, that there are no like well, dirt or mud or stuff like that. So let's start by doing some slicing here then. We can do some different types of slicing. First off, we can do some, you know, full round parts here and see how well it performs. It's definitely still quite sharp, even after our wood processing that we did. Let's do like that. It's slicing, you know, you don't need a whole lot of pressure, it just, you know, sinks right through it. This is not how I usually slice up my tomatoes when I'm, you know, making dinner or anything, but I just want to yeah, mess around a little here. Let's do like this. You know, so you can tell it is quite sharp, definitely. Let's see if we can actually quite watery tomato at that as well. Let's see. Sinks right through. No doubt is this a sharp knife. It is incredibly sharp. You know, it's just from the, you know, if I drop it here, like, you know, just kind of sinks through. And the peel is actually, you know, this is just a tomato massacre right now. Doesn't matter. I have some extra, some spare ones, but you know, just in terms of showing, you know, the sharpness here, it's, you know, this is a sharp knife. Definitely. So I would say that this knife is. It has taken me by surprise in more ways than just one. So I'm gonna clean this blade up a bit now, and then I'm gonna record some final thoughts of sorts. But at least we've done some different cutting and slicing now, and it's all been, you know, pretty nice experiences. This concludes the, well, whatever you want to call this segment. I'm not going to call it kitchen duty. Maybe I should just call this a sharpness test, to be honest. But next part will be the final, you know, thoughts and conclusion. Time to end the video and try to summarize some thoughts and conclusions here. So when I first ordered this knife, you know, I actually waited a few months even after it was released with picking one up, because the design felt a bit, well, it didn't, directly speak to my heart, if I put it like that. I was curious, but I was not, I wasn't all over it, even though it was, not that many made. It was like a limited run, etc. But I still felt like, I felt no rush. And, then with time I got more curious about it. I saw some random videos on YouTube. Not many videos putting it to any use. I don't think I've seen any video do that. But I felt, like I couldn't resist any longer, and I had to decide, would I go with the satin finish version, or would I go with the black coated version? Also knowing that there were some slight variations in grinds, etc. between the two. But I picked up the satin version. And now that I have finally, put it to some use, I feel like that was a good call picking this one up. Could have done it earlier, to be honest. Because this knife is a lot more, well, first off, it is a lot more comfortable than what I thought it was going to be, judging from photos and even some videos. The blade design is, well, it is different. It really is. It's probably, a deal breaker for some people, but I'm glad I decided to take a shot at it. It is a functional blade. This part here, I mean, it works well with my hand. For some tasks, I have to use a knife like this. For others, this will work actually. So, but it is an interesting knife. Definitely not love at first sight, but it has grown on me. That much I can say. The fit and finish, the overall, the symmetry of the blade and everything, all the details. It is, this is a Reate knife with everything that stands, for quality. It is, impeccable in execution, in fit and finish. It really is. And the sheath as well. Really, really sturdy, nice, high quality, thick leather. Great stitching. Everything about this is just, it is a high quality product. If I could have seen, another design for the first fixed blade from Reate, then or if I could, if I could have picked a design for my first fixed blade from Reate, this is perhaps not what I would have gone with, but that is personal preferences, as simple as that. I am glad that I, went with something out of my comfort zone, sort of, because I did enjoy working with this knife. I did enjoy working with it in the woods. It was a joy making feathers with it, and it was also quite nice slicing up the tomatoes. So it is a very capable maybe small to medium sized knife. It is not gonna speak to everyone, but if you dare try it out, then you too might be a bit surprised by its performance, if I put it like that. And like I said before, this is my first knife designed by Jim Skelton. Some of his other designs did not speak to me, so I skipped them. Maybe I should go back and take, a second look, but this is still, probably the one design that he has made that has spoken to me. So we are kind of, far apart in general when it comes to knife designs. But I've got to hand it to him. This one is a nice, good looking, actually practical, ergonomical knife. I've got to say that, that I've got to say. And it is sharp. Let's go with go with a piece of printing paper again here. This is after having, you know, worked with the knife quite a bit. It is sharp, and it stays sharp. I love M390. Really nice steel. And maybe we should go with some newspaper again here. I'm gonna pick a better page than I did the last time. Let's see. It is some great level of sharpness. So, final words. Interesting knife, interesting design, quite ergonomical, quite sharp, surprisingly well for feather sticking. So yeah, am I getting a second one with black coating? Perhaps. Will be interesting to see the differences in grinds, that is for sure. So, Reate Tibia, checking out.